next up, we have an interesting game. A very interesting game.
Yeah,
a game that I'm delighted that is happening, actually. And to be fair, both coaches were reflecting those sentiments. We have Portugal v Japan in the Estadio Municipal Cidade de Coimbra.
I'm sure that is exactly correct.
I'm not sure that's correct, but it is on Saturday also, 13th of November. Andrew Brace is going to be the man with the whistle.
Oh my goodness, it's an all-Irish referee.
Oh, it is, yeah. Frank Murphy, Chris Busby on the ARs, and Brian McNeese in the TMO, all Irish. No offloading allowed. Crossing calls on every pretty try.
Crossing for both teams constantly.
No, unfortunately not. We hope not, because both of these sides play the game with aplomb and with tempo and with verve. And as far as the colour, I was looking through it. Although they did play a training match in 2007 against each other, but this will be the first full test cap match, or the full test match between these two sides. So there's
awesome.
no precedent at all. This is for all the marbles for the winning record between them. And currently ranked 19th is where Portugal are, and they're behind second place in Rugby Europe behind Georgia at the minute. They're enjoying a bit of a resurgence, as we've been documenting, in terms of where the Portugal team is up and or is at, and where their ebb is at. They're trending in the right direction, and they're working towards qualifying for the World Cup in France. So this is a big kind of test for them, because they've said before that they've modelled their game on what Japan have been able to do, and Japan's journey to Tier 1 from Tier 2 has kind of blazed a trail that a lot of these sides are aspiring towards, and it's just great that Japan are going and doing this game, and I think there's no doubt it'll be pretty.
It's going to be a fun one, as you said. Patrice Lasque, the Portuguese coach, who's just doing a great job, has talked about how proud they are to play a game against Japan, and just talking about the fact that Japan's game is so similar to theirs. They play a fast game with little men, and their style of rugby is so remarkably similar and so easy on the eye that this just can't help but be a banger. I think it's going to be really exciting just to look at it from the point of view of both teams, starting with Os Lobos. Good news from a Portuguese perspective is that they have reinforcements from the game on Saturday. Anthony Alves, Jeffrey Moisey, Samuel Marques,
the key one, the key difference tempo setter,
along with Jean de Souza, Francisco Fernandes. They're basically going to be full strength, this Portuguese team.
Going gung-ho at it. They've probably had this in their calendar for quite a while. This is a great game for them.
They do. And listen, as games against Tier 1 sides go, I'm not going to say that they're a favourite in this side, but the matchup of their offence against the Japanese defence should excite them.
Yes.
They have some really excellent players on the offensive side of the ball.
Marques Portela run a very, very nice ship. When they get quick ball to work with, they can be very irresistible to watch. It's lovely, and you can overload the Japanese defenders. You can definitely, they're less mean than some of their Tier 1 compatriots in terms of just making you feel every kind of bit of contact. They're more technical than that, even in terms of how they defend. If they're going to get a turnover steal, they'll do it pretty cleanly. From Portugal's point of view, be brave, go after them, take it to them, because that's what Japan will be wanting, and it's also Portugal's best route. They've done it all season. When they succeed, they do it by playing their game and making no bones about it, just going for it. And when the attack's on, attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got some quality loose forwards. They're a little slight in the tight five.
They are. The tight five
not dissimilar to Japan, but their backline of Marques, Portela, they've got Appleton, the captain, and Lima in the centres are two lovely players. And their secret weapons, Storti and Marta on the two wings.
Awesome.
Really lovely players. They get them involved constantly on inside shoulders, off blindside wings, off open side wings. They try to involve them as often as possible.
Which is dead right.
They try to do similar things to what Ireland did last week to Japan, which is kind of overload the inside with runners off each other in tight spaces. And that's definitely a challenge for the Japanese defence. They play a quick brand. Marques runs a really lovely offense when he's on his game, and I definitely think on the defensive end they might struggle in this game, because Japan is going to play at a pace that they haven't had to defend,
and perhaps a physicality they're not used to.
No question.
Despite Japan aren't the most physical side, but they are a tier 1 side that are physical.
No question. I'm not suggesting that Portugal are going to win this game, but I am suggesting that Portugal should be excited about showing off their skills to a side they admire. You know?
Exactly.
This is going to be a good spirits,
sometimes
fun game.
You don't want to meet your heroes, but in this instance, I think it's a pretty cool thing that they are. And I love the fact that Japan are heading out there. It speaks to their credit. Same as when I was complimenting Scotland for heading out to Tbilisi and taking on Georgia. It's a good thing to give these kinds of sides kind of matches against a team that they not only admire and emulate, but this will be a good kind of litmus test of where the bar
barometer,
is. To just be able to test where they stand when compared to a team that's similar to them, that have already made the step up from tier 2 to tier 1 after a lot of graft and a lot of hard work.
I mean, obviously, the nuts and bolts of the game, Portugal are going to struggle. They're going to have to do their best to hold up the set piece. They're going to have to do their best to tackle a very annoyed Kazuki Himeno, who was absolutely spitting fire after that Ireland game. He was talking all kinds of sad things.
Better than that.
Well, he was saying he was close to tears. He felt ashamed. All that sort of dramatic
stuff.
Stuff.
A lovely pass for that try.
He didn't play too badly. They were just a little shocked, but they were very displeased with what happened in Dublin,
which doesn't fare well for Portugal in terms of the old backlash from an offensive minded team.
Because they're just a team that's thinking about themselves really and getting right, and that starts with putting together a good performance in this game and blowing out Portugal and getting a bit of momentum back, because any momentum that was in Japanese rugby was kind of sucked out of it last week. So they're going to be determined to get that right. As much as this is a friendly match between two friendly nations and playing fun rugby, Japan are going to be determined to put an absolute show on and dominate.
They'll probably be aggressive from the opening whistle, and the intent and the focus that they can bring when they are dialed. Like, they looked a little jet lag last week. They've been in Europe now. When Japan are dialed, they bring a scary level of focus and cohesion as far as a team organised and a team ethic is concerned. They will work super hard, and they could outwork the Portuguese on balance. That could be the kind of difference between the sides, more so than physicality, which is very often when Portugal don't stack up so well. It could be just they could be shocked by just how hard these Japanese guys work as well, and they could smother them too.
And they could be alive to the little inside balls like no European team has been all year.
Because it's that's that shape that we try and work. You know,
exactly. I would expect Japan to try and dial in the defense. And
maybe some good plays from the likes of Lafayette, who was frozen out last week.
I'm sure. When Japan have the ball, they'll get to the edge. They'll make things happen. They'll find some lovely tries.
Will be barnstorming when he gets.
I think they're certainly good for 30, 35 points in this game, Japan. The question is what happens on the other side of it. Do Portugal manage to put something in on the Japanese defence? How good do they look? Have they stalled a little bit? I mean, I know they're getting some men back this week, but last week against Canada wasn't all that convincing. It wasn't as good as they have been, putting up 49 and the like against Russia.
Or their one against the Netherlands, where they got a hat-trick for one winger and 4 for the other. Or was it 5 for the? I think it was
Storty.
I think it was 5 and 3 for the wingers. Right. It was crazy stuff. But they need to be dialing in that offense, and I'd like to see them score a bit. Maybe if Japan are breathing fire, they repel them, and it could be a case of lovely middle third sexy rugby that ends up breaking down for the Portuguese, which probably the most likely scenario, in fact, because tier 2 sides, the difference is there. You don't tend to notice it when they're looking very, very good out in Russia or wherever else, but there is a difference and there is a gulf. So I'm hopeful that Portugal do manage to, like, even if they're repelled the first few times, just string enough things together to make some very pretty sequences result in very good tries.
Yeah, I think they will. I think it'll be a fun one to watch from a neutral point of view. I believe this game is being broadcast on YouTube by World Rugby.
Excellent. World Rugby been doing good work for that.
So listen, if you like offensive footy, if you like,
it's going to be effectively on demand. You don't even have to watch it live.
Exactly right. The joyous Japanese team that we all know and love, attempting to be replicated by a pretty joyous Portuguese team.
There's no bad guys. It's a good guys v good guys.
It's a good guys v good guys game, is right, and I expect it'll be a fun one.
The better guys will probably win, which I would say the Japan.
Yeah,
just on balance, they're a little further down the road.
And Portugal looked a little stalled last week, but we haven't seen Portugal not score tries before. I don't quite know what that looks like.
I don't think they haven't. I'm pretty sure they've scored a try every time this season.
At least one.
Yeah,
two in every game, I think. Yeah. Even against Georgia.
Yeah.
So no, I think they're good for at least a couple of tries in this game. Maybe even 3.
That'll be lovely.
So I'll go for 45-19 Japan.
I'll say 40. 28. A
Woof.
bonus point for the ambitious, audacious Portuguese.
That would annoy the Japanese.
It would.
That's too close.
Maybe it's a
for
pick.
Japan.
One pick that gives them the fourth, and very annoying from Japan.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that it'll be a very fun game. And sure, if you want a bit of a laugh, slap it on YouTube and slap 1.5 speed on, because it'll just be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, exciting contest. Really good advert for the game. And there's been a lot of flack about Tier 1, Tier 2. And I think even if this is a blowout, this is constructive for Portugal and for Japan. I think this is an example of how it can be done right. It's just things like Tonga going to Twickenham, obviously,
little worse.
There's a matter of degrees to all of this, but this one is just going to be
and it's Portugal being at home as well. That's the big difference as well.
Is.
They're not travelling to Japan. That would be a worse thing.
Exactly.
It's Japan coming to Portugal to kind of show them what
fill
they
a
can
stadium and show Japan. That's exactly how you do it. So excited for this contest. I'm just eager to watch it.
There's no losers here. It's just a fun game of rugby.
None at all.
But with that, we will move on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to give it a like, share with your friends, and leave a comment down below as well. We really do want to hear your thoughts.